feel in that moment like something isn't right, like you get emotional, and it might rub. It's open to anything, and we'll see what the future holds. But I enjoy.
Picture this. June 2021. A pageant stage in Connecticut. A row of beautiful, polished teenage girls in formal gowns, their hair done, their makeup professional, their walks practiced. They are competing for the title of Miss Connecticut Teen USA. Many of them have been on the pageant circuit for years. They have done dozens of competitions. They know how to slip into character at the snap of a producer's finger. And then, in the middle of them, there is a 16-year-old girl whose mother is, at that exact moment, halfway across the world in Turkey getting plastic surgery. The girl's name is Aniko Bollok. Her name means grace. She is the older daughter of Darcey Silva and Frank Bollok. She is the same teenager who, just a few years earlier, had famously looked up at her mother and her toxic Dutch boyfriend, Jesse Meester, at a steak dinner and told them, with the calm of an old soul, to grow up. Welcome back to the Tell-All Tapes, your home for the deepest 90-day Fiancé documentaries on YouTube. Tonight, we are doing the deep dive on one of the most charming, most overlooked, most quietly important storylines in the entire Silva universe. Aniko Bollok's beauty pageant journey. The Miss Connecticut Teen USA competition in June of 2021. The Darcey and Stacey Season 3 episode titled Pageant Mom Drama. The pageant coach named Brittany. The grandfather Mike Silva, who quietly paid for the training. The mother, Darcey, in Turkey, is getting plastic surgery while her daughter chases a trophy at home. The Miss Photogenic title, Aniko, ultimately won. And the way this small, beautiful moment in a 16-year-old's life secretly shaped the woman she is becoming today. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand why this pageant story matters far more than the franchise ever let on. Let's set the scene. In June of 2021, Aniko Bollok was 16 years old. She was a student at Middletown High School in Connecticut. She went by the nickname Ani. According to her own Facebook bio at the time, she was preparing to graduate the following year. She was an influencer with over 62,000 followers on Instagram and over 68,000 fans on TikTok. She had been featured repeatedly on her mother's TV show, Darcey and Stacey. She had become a fan favorite. She had stood up to Jesse Meester at the famous steak dinner. She had spoken into TLC cameras with poise that some grown adults could not muster. She was, by every measure, a young woman with public-facing skills. So when Aniko decided, around early 2021, that she wanted to compete in the Miss Connecticut Teen USA pageant, the family rallied around her. Darcey, ever the supportive mother, declared herself, quote, an official pageant mom. Mike Silva, the grandfather, quietly opened his wallet and helped fund the coaching that Aniko needed. The family hired a pageant coach named Brittany. Brittany was experienced. Brittany was professional. Brittany was the kind of mentor 16-year-old girls need when they decide to step into a competitive arena where many of the other contestants have been training for years. This is where the Season 3 episode comes in. Season 3 of Darcey and Stacey, Episode 2, titled Pageant Mom Drama, aired on January 17, 2022, and dove into the entire family preparation for Aniko's pageant. Fans got a front-row seat to the comedy and the chaos. Darcey, in true Darcey fashion, decided that she would help Aniko by, of all things, demonstrating her own pageant walk. In a now iconic scene at lunch with her father Mike Silva, Darcey popped up from the table and started doing a pageant walk to show her daughter how it was done. Aniko watched. Aspen watched. Mike watched. And the entire family delivered an honest review. Aspen told her mother she was stiff. Mike told her to sway more. The girls graded her walk on a scale of 1 to 10. Aspen gave her a 6. Aniko, less generous, gave her 2. 2 fans. Out of 10. From your own daughter. That is the kind of honest family love that the Silva Bollok household has always had. Darcey, characteristically, took the feedback in stride. She laughed. She made a joke about her daughters soon being in college, having boyfriends, and getting married. The lunch scene was charming, funny, and quietly tender. It also confirmed something fans had long suspected. Aniko Bollok did not need her mother to teach her how to walk a runway. Aniko Bollok already knew exactly who she was. Aniko, in her own confessionals on the show, described pageantry as, quote, a way of bringing out your most confident self. That is a beautiful framing, fans. Pageantry, at its best, is about self-presentation, self-belief, walking into a room of strangers and claiming your space with grace and authority. For a teenage girl, that kind of practice can be transformative. It teaches you to stand straight, to make eye contact, to answer questions under pressure, to handle competition without losing your sense of self, to accept loss without losing dignity. It teaches you skills that, frankly, no school curriculum is going to teach you in the same way. Aniko was attracted to those lessons. She was not chasing a tiara just for the sparkle. She was chasing the version of herself that the pageant process would reveal. Now, here is the part of the story that became controversial. While Aniko was preparing for her pageant, her mother, Darcey, was preparing for something very different. Darcey, in 2021, had flown to Turkey for a series of cosmetic procedures with her twin sister, Stacy. The famous Turkey surgery trip. The trip that gave fans the BBL, the lipo, the contouring, the various lifts and tucks and procedures that have been documented and debated to this day. Critics pointed out the strange parallel. While Darcey was, quote, fixing her appearance under anesthesia in another country, her 16-year-old daughter was at home in Connecticut, in front of a panel of judges, hoping to be told she was beautiful enough to win a pageant. The Monsters and Critics outlet ran an article asking whether Aniko was, quote, down a slippery slope by trying to make herself look and feel better through pageants. Fans on social media debated. Some said it was an inappropriate moment for a teenage girl to be competing for beauty trophies, while her mother was on an operating table for plastic surgery. Others said the two events were unrelated and that Aniko deserved to chase her dreams regardless of what her mother was doing. The conversation around Aniko's pageant became, in part, a conversation about generational beauty pressure in the Silva family, about how the women in this family had always been judged on their appearance, about what that legacy meant for a 16-year-old girl now stepping into the same kind of judgment. Aniko, to her credit, did not let any of that noise distract her. She kept training. She kept practicing. She kept showing up. The pageant happened in June of 2021. Aniko, representing Middlesex County, took the stage with the rest of the contestants. The Miss Connecticut Teen USA pageant typically features around 30 teenagers from across the state, ranging in age from 14 to 19. Many of them, as we mentioned, had been on the pageant circuit for years. Aniko was the new girl, the reality TV daughter, the Connecticut influencer with the famous mom. Some of her competitors probably underestimated her. Some probably overestimated her, expecting the pageant to be rigged in her favor because of her platform. Either way, Aniko did her thing. She walked, she posed, she answered. And when the results came in, fans, they were honest. Aniko did not win the main title of Miss Connecticut Teen USA. That title went to a young woman named Nikita Kikanamata, who had previously won Miss Congeniality in 2020 and also took home Miss Congeniality in 2021. Nikita was a seasoned pageant competitor. The first runner-up was Ava Howard. The second runner-up was Ava King. The third runner-up was Mered Spelisi. And the fourth runner-up, rounding out the top 5, was Monica Korbusieski. Aniko Bollok, fans, did not make the top 5. By traditional pageant scoring, she did not place. But here is where the magic happened. Aniko Bollok won the Most Photogenic title, Miss Photogenic 2021. The trophy that goes to the contestant whose photos best capture the magic the camera is supposed to see in pageantry. Aniko, the daughter of a reality TV star, the granddaughter of a businessman, the niece of a fashion designer, the great-niece of generations of strong Silva women, took home a trophy that recognized something about her that even the pageant scoring system could not measure. The way the camera loved her, the way her presence translated to a photograph. Aniko shared the win on her social media. She did not post about it on her main Instagram feed, choosing to keep her brand focused on other things, but she did share a selfie with the trophy. She described the win in a caption as, quote, "a life-changing experience. Life-changing fans." From a teenager who had every reason to be jaded by fame. Aniko, despite growing up with a famous reality TV mother, despite having watched her family go through public humiliation and personal triumph for years, still found genuine joy in winning a small trophy at a state-level pageant. That, fans, is something to celebrate. That is a young woman who has not been calloused by celebrities. That is a young woman who can still be surprised by recognition. That is the kind of inner life that a lot of Nepo babies in this universe never get to have. But the impact of the pageant went beyond just one win, because the pageant became a launchpad for the rest of Aniko's young life. After the Miss Photogenic title, Aniko started modeling more confidently for her mother and aunt's fashion brand House of 11. She modeled bodysuits. She modeled jackets. She modeled the Wings hoodie. She brought a fresh, youthful energy to the brand's photography. Her Instagram following grew. Her TikTok following grew. By her late teens, her younger sister Aspen Bollok would also follow a similar path, eventually earning her own verified Instagram account, thanks to her growing modeling profile. The pageant was, in many ways, the first chapter of Aniko's entrance into the public-facing world on her own terms. Not as Darcey's daughter, not as Aspen's sister, not as Stacy's niece, but as Aniko Bollok, a young woman with her own confidence, her own ambition, her own light. A year later, after the pageant, Aniko graduated from Middletown High School. She made a big, brave decision. She decided to attend college far away from her famous family. She enrolled at the University of Arizona. That is a 5-day drive away from her Connecticut hometown. That is across mountains, deserts, and time zones. Aniko did this on purpose. She wanted distance. She wanted to be somewhere where she could be herself, separate from her mother's reality TV shadow. The Darcey and Stacy. Season 4, Episode 9, titled Hello and Goodbye, captured the goodbye moment between mother and daughter. Darcey took Aniko shopping for college supplies. Darcey did an obstacle course with her daughter. Darcey cried. Aniko comforted her. And then Aniko got on a plane and went west to begin her own chapter. At the University of Arizona, Aniko studied. She made friends. She built a life. She kept her famous family in the background of her social media. She let her academic and professional self take the lead, and after graduation, according to the latest reporting, Aniko relocated to New York City, where she now works as a client PR manager at a real public relations firm, from beauty queen to PR professional, from pageant stage to Manhattan office, from 16 years old in a sash to 20-something young woman managing client relationships. That is the arc of a young woman who used her early opportunities not as a final destination, but as a stepping stone to something more grounded and more lasting. Now, here is what I want fans to really take from this story. Aniko Bollok's pageant journey is not just a cute footnote in the Darcey and Stacy universe. It is, in many ways, a roadmap for how to do Nepo baby fame right. Aniko had every advantage: famous mom, famous aunt, TV platform, built-in audience, built-in coaching budget, built-in glam team. She could have easily ridden that wave into a career of vapid Instagram modeling, sponsored ads, drama-driven storylines, and reality TV cameos. Instead, she did something completely different. She used the platform briefly. She competed in one pageant. She won a respectable, real title in Miss Photogenic. She modeled for the family business. She kept her social media accounts focused but disciplined. She graduated high school with honors. She went to a real university. She moved across the country for college. She built her own identity. She got a real job after graduating. She kept her famous mom at a healthy emotional distance while staying loving. She has, in short, shown the rest of the next generation in this franchise exactly how to grow up with fame, learn from it, and then graduate into a life of your own. That, fans, is the real legacy of the pageant. So tell me, fans, in the comments below, honestly, should Aniko Bollok have won the actual title of Miss Connecticut Teen USA in 2021? Or was Nikita Kakanamata the right winner? Was it healthy for a 16-year-old to compete in a beauty pageant while her mother was in Turkey getting plastic surgery? Or were the two events on totally separate tracks? Did Darcey support Aniko in the right way during pageant preparation? Or was she a little too extra at lunch with her wobbly pageant walk? And the big question, fans. Should Aniko Bollok, now in her 20s, compete in Miss Connecticut USA as an adult? Could she win the big one this time around? Tell me where you stand. I want to read every answer. And if you are a young woman who has ever been told you were not enough, who has ever stepped into a competition you were not the favorite to win, and who has ever walked away with a smaller trophy that meant more than gold, drop a crown emoji in the comments below. Let's flood the comments with crowns. For Aniko Bollok, for every young woman chasing her own definition of confidence. If this hits you somewhere honest, smash that like button. Subscribe to the Tell All Tapes for new 90-day Fiancé documentaries every single week. Share this with the friend you always send Aniko's clips to. This was the Tell All Tapes, and we will see you in the next one.